Now, the federal government has been called upon to adopt and implement a national action plan on business and human rights in Nigeria that will protect the right of host communities from activities of extractive companies. This is after findings of investigative visit carried out by CISLAC to host communities in the extractive sector. The Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Hawal Ibrahim Musa, said that the result from the findings showed that the government needs to put more effort towards prevention, investigation, punishment, and providing redress to victims through effective policies, legislation, regulations, and adjudication. KAFTAN TV correspondent Benedict Uko has more.
According to the findings of investigative visits carried out by CISLAC to host communities in the extractive sector, the impact of business activities in most communities has contributed to the loss of livelihood, poor agricultural yields, and others.
It's a polluted water unfit for human and animal consumption due to mining activities, by the Leaf South.
In most cases, the residents of these communities are barely employed by these companies. While briefing journalists on Wednesday in Abuja, the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Ibrahim Musa, said the results from the findings that government need to put in more effort towards prevention, investigation, punishment, and providing redress to victims through effective policies, legislation, regulations, and adjudication.
We are very much aware about the role that both local and multinational companies are playing in actually destroying so many communities that they are operating, that are working. You cannot simply destroy the means of livelihood of the communities and continue to violate the rights of the people there, and then you make all the profits and then go away. I think the injustice is just too much. CISLAC, in partnership with Global Rights and with support from Open Society Foundation, embarked on a fact-finding mission to some host communities across the country to check out impact of business activities in the extractive sector on human rights, and what we saw clearly showed that it is expedient for government to put in place. In fact, even more effort should be put towards prevention, investigation, punishment, and providing redress to victims through effective policies, legislation, regulation, and adjudication.
The Executive Director also recommended the establishment of a national working group on business and human rights, creation of a directorate, community development, access to remedy, and others. He, however, pinpointed the adoption and implementation of a national action plan on business and human rights in Nigeria.
The major recommendation we are making is actually the adoption and the implementation of the National Action Plan on Business and Human Rights, which is an integrated and systematic national strategy to help realize advancement of human rights in Nigeria. It is an audit of human rights situation in our country, identifying areas in need of protection and improvement. We, as an organization, we are advocating and ensuring that government takes necessary steps to ensure that communities and environment are actually protected by the authority as well as the companies, because we cannot afford to continue to pollute the environment, allow the business communities to pollute the environment, and they are not putting in place mechanism to prevent the kind of destruction that we are witnessing. Failure to do this, communities will continue to experience this total alienation and destruction of their livelihood.
Businesses are expected to respect internationally recognized human rights wherever they operate to avoid infringing on the human rights of others.